Candidates keeping their eye on Wall Street after the worst start to the year ever for the markets. That trouble in China fueling worldwide fears. ABC's Lindsay Davis is at the New York Stock Exchange with the latest. Good morning, Lindsay.
Good morning, Robin. What a difference a day makes. The Dow opening up about 100 points. This after a rough one here on Wall Street yesterday, where we saw drops of more than 400 points during the day, and then it closed down more than 2%. And the Dow is actually down more than 5% since the beginning of the year, largely due to concerns with China. Global unrest and falling oil prices are causing a ripple effect in U.S. markets. But some much needed good news from China this morning after a 7% drop yesterday that halted Chinese markets after just 14 minutes of trading. Chinese markets closed up today. Perhaps we have some much needed calm for jittery investors. Robin.
All right, Lindsay, thank you. Here now, more on this is Liz Claman, anchor of Countdown to the Closing Bell on the Fox Business Network. I want to get to the 401k, but first of all, you wanted to address China. They did away with the so-called circuit breakers that actually helped.
Well, you know, it's so fascinating to see that China is going through very sharp growing pains, trying to be a communist nation, but at the same time trying to be a capitalist nation with their markets. They had these so-called circuit breakers put into place, and they would trigger and shut down the markets if there was a precipitous fall. Twice this week, the circuit breaker shut everything down to give a pause, but guess what? It worked in the complete opposite direction. It incited sheer panic, and the market started to fall. So this is a bizarre behavior and too much heavy-handed intervention on behalf of the Chinese.
And a little bit of panic here, especially when it comes to American 401ks. The average American 401k has dropped $4,500. What's your advice?
Well, the advice is don't open your envelopes for this month because it's been an ugly first opening. As you just heard, it's the worst opening for the Dow for the year that we've ever seen. So what you want to do is just sit tight for the moment and not worry. Now, why should people think that what happens in China affects us? Well, it's not like Vegas, what stays in Vegas. It's now affecting us as a global market. So any companies that have a U.S. standing but have a global footprint, like the Starbucks of the world, the Yum brands, you know, they love Kentucky Fried Chicken in China.
Right.
So they're big Chinese exposure, and you may very well own those stocks. So these are still good companies going through a slight blip and a tough time.
Fox Business Network has the next Republican debate that's coming up on Thursday. You think the focus will shift a little bit from terrorism to the economy?
I absolutely believe it does. How could it not? Because people vote their wallets in the end.
All right. Great to see you, Liz.
Good to see you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. And you can see, again, the Fox Business Network, the next Republican debate coming up on Thursday.